nice out. We got over our weird rainy season that we had too. It's finally over. It's starting to look something like
Yeah,
spring.
man. You LA motherfuckers get no goddamn sympathy from me about any kind of weather shit. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here with that bad weather LA shit.
It was almost 64.
Oh my god. Break out the North Face.
Hello, you beautiful nerds. Hello, you beautiful nerds. This is Climate Change Talk with with Bill and Ready Cee.
Right. Word.
Welcome to the Drunk Banthas podcast, where we talk about sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and all the popular art that we love. Also,
Yeah.
I'm joined as always by my brother and co-host Bill.
That's right. I am a brother. And I'm also his brother. It's not a black thing. It's
Yeah.
like
Actual brothers.
Y'all are brothers, or y'all say y'all are brothers, but y'all aren't really brothers.
It's like, are y'all brothers or are y'all brothers? And the answer is
Right.
yes. Today we are talking about the brand new MCU film about those defenders of deep space, those keepers of the cosmos, those guardians of the galaxy. But today we have a very special guest to help us break it all down.
That's right.
He is a legendary DJ,
Ficky.
hip hop extraordinaire, and he is the host of the Comic Book Trap House YouTube channel, and he's just a
Woo.
goddamn beautiful human being. Got
Aw.
DJ Ready Cee, welcome to the show.
Woo. Peace. What's good, man? Thank y'all for having me, bro. You know?
Of course.
Brothers, my brothers.
Right.
We're brothers too. It's like it
figure
all
out.
works.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
all works.
Figure it out, YouTube.
Now we had to extend the favor. You guys were kind enough to have us on the Comic Book Trap House a couple times, and we're
yeah, of
huge
course.
fans of y'all's channel. So any opportunity to talk nerd shit, we want to take it.
Yeah, man. As soon as
Hey,
Dave
man.
goes off, I gotta get back on y'all's show.
Word, man.
Yeah.
Every time you guys come through on the Trap House, man, it's always been a dope episode, and the door's always open on our end with y'all, man, for sure.
Definitely, y'all
Appreciate
go
it.
out. Same here as obviously y'all go subscribe right now to the Comic Book Trap House. Go on YouTube, subscribe.
Yep.
And do yourself a favor.
Yeah, and you don't even have to go into the search bar and type it out. It's like, oh, how do you type trap house? I'm just a poor innocent person who's never heard of a trap house.
Nope.
All you have to do is go into the description of the video,
Right here.
and the link will be right
Boom.
there. So save yourself.
Boom. Perfect.
It's right here.
Oh yeah. This is one of the, yeah. As I mentioned,
Nice
we are
futuristic
talking
convenience.
about the third installment in the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy.
That's right.
We're probably gonna get more Guardians movies in the future with a different lineup, but this is the end of this
Well,
iteration of the Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn is going off doing his DC thing.
It's the
Uh,
end.
yeah. Well, I mean, Marvel kind of they've announced that they're not doing any part fours. It's all going to be trilogies as far as these solo titles, and not solo title, but like
Right.
individual films and shit. The only movies that are going to get like beyond part fours and fives and sixes is if they got the Avengers as the main title. They'll go on
Right.
forever. But
That
all
makes
this,
sense.
Guardian part three is as far as these other movies are going.
Yeah,
And thank God.
it looks like they're going to go with the guest star role. Like, so you might see the Guardians of the Galaxy again, but they won't be in their movie. It'll be
Right.
in
Yeah.
the Captain Marvel movie.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll probably see them pop up come Secret Wars time somewhere in there. They'll be
For
back
sure.
I've heard
here and there.
rumors of a Star-Lord movie and a possible Ravagers movie.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So like,
Yeah.
if those things are the way we would get these characters back into our lives in some kind of way, but not, like C said, not gonna it's more likely than not that we won't have a Galaxy 4.
Yeah.
Nah, it ain't gonna happen.
And that would be cool because like there's really great stories out there. Like there's a cool comic book storyline called Black Vortex where like the Guardians of the Galaxy and the X-Men and a bunch of other just like Avengers and Nova like all come together. And that would be like a really interesting story to do without it just having to be a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So I can see them doing
Right.
that once they get more into the crazy cosmos shit.
Mm,
But speaking of crazy cosmos
true.
shit, this was some crazy Cosmos shit in this movie for sure.
Cosmo.
But yeah, there's even a dog named Cosmo.
Word.
Before we get into the nitty gritty of like the minutia,
Have you ever noticed?
What's that?
Never go anywhere without each other. Nitty or gritty.
yeah, two peas in a pod.
Ah, no, that's it. They belong
Nobody ever be
together.
walking around. Let's get to the nitty. Let's get to the gritty.
Yeah, fuck the gritty.
But yeah, let's start with our esteemed guest, Ready Cee. What were your initial thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy 3? Like, did you like it more than
Well,
Quantumania? How do you feel about it in the the MCU, the recent MCU movies we got?
I've been trying to wrap my mind around that whole thought process, but these movies have been so terrible that it's just a blur in my mind as to what's even come out or not over the last several years. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's been very tough, hard, difficult, unpaved road that I've been trying to travel on to reach some kind of goal with these movies. And not to get too far off track, but I would say, as far as movies in recent times, yeah, this was better than the last few that I've seen, straight MCU style movies.
Right. Okay.
But that doesn't mean that it deserves a trophy.
Right.
Right.
Well, I'll ask you
You
this
know,
follow-up.
just because it participated in the lineup of films does not deserve it a trophy.
Right.
Yeah, it is a movie. It is movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I kind of described it to somebody. I kind of said it happened. Okay, see you later.
Right.
That was a thing.
It
Yeah.
didn't lose
Yeah, that
any
happened.
money.
Nah,
Made some money.
I don't even feel like there's any real spoilers. I mean, it's nothing to really spoil in this film. It's not like, oh man, I can't wait for you to see this so I can,
Right.
we could talk about, what happened.
Right.
There's nothing like that in this movie.
There's no moment where I'm like, oh man, that part really slapped.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
no part where I was like, yo, like I could be like, I fucking hated the movie, but there was that one part though where, hey, they
Right. Yeah, dog.
Right.
Well, it gets busy when after this, there's no plateau.
Right.
It just takes off, flies, and lands.
Yeah, it's a Delta airline. It's a Delta airline flight.
It's like commercial.
There were no delays.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
were
no turbulence.
There was no turbulence.
Nothing.
They did have
No,
pretzels. They did have peanuts.
no in-flight movie. No pretzel. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. All they had was, they didn't even give you the free headphones on this flight. None of
Do
that.
you think it was better than the last few bad, or I guess maybe unenjoyable Marvel movies that have passed?
Yeah, I don't want to shit on it, crazy.
I'm just saying, do you think it was better than those because it wasn't really a kids movie? This is definitely the first Marvel movie that is definitely not a children's.
It's not
film.
for kids. Yeah. I would say that.
Yeah, it's not really tailored for kids, but it's certainly written by what seems to be kids.
Right. No,
I will say.
I
Sorry,
would
no,
agree with that because the reason I posed that question is because I think that it was a better movie than what people, or it's getting better reception than the previous movies that have come out in the last 4 movies that have come out. Because
Right.
it was more adult, but it still was for the kids because it could have been 40 minutes long, shorter, because they could have cut out a lot of bullshit that we just didn't need.
Right.
Tell me there's kids on a ship without telling me there's kids on a ship, without showing me there's kids on a ship, because they could have got
or they could have cut it.
Could have made it. Could have cut it down.
Yeah.
To make the movie shorter and paced better. Because it wasn't even a long movie. It just wasn't paced very well. But my whole point is that I think this was Disney's way of sticking their toe in the water and going, how far can we push it and people not actually get mad?
Yeah.
Because this was not for kids, but it was for kids because they still were clearly trying to sell toys.
Right. Yeah, because of that weird little dog thing that was with Adam Warlock. I was like, oh, this is a toy.
Yeah, it's just a
This
toy.
is blatantly a toy.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
Yeah,
all.
as like Adam was too.
but yeah, like you make a good point
Yeah,
because
Adam
like
Warlock was
they got
basically a toy.
yeah.
He was a toy,
Uh,
super toy boy.
yeah, because like he didn't really serve any other purpose in this film, but um, except like being the inciting incident because he attacked Rocket. But yeah, like bring up a good point because like we do have Deadpool 3 is in like production. I think they're about to start filming soon, so like you got to get audiences ready for like an R-rated Marvel film for sure, or at least having some
Yeah,
film having some edge to it. I probably like this movie a little bit more than you guys did, just because I disliked Guardians 2 so much and I just came in with it with like super low expectations. I was just like, all right, I'm just like going into it as a finalist or what's it called? Completist,
White person.
where I need
hmm
to
Oh,
a white person.
I don't know.
But yeah, I was just going into it as like a completist, just like I'm just gonna see this movie to see this movie because I watch all Marvel
yeah,
shit.
Right.
But I
get it
did.
over with.
There was a lot of emotional stuff that really worked with me, like all the rocket stuff. I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
There
for
were a couple of
sure, for
fight scenes
sure.
I enjoyed, but I'm the same way where I just felt like it wasn't great. Like I liked Wakanda Forever more than this personally.
You know, I
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't like some of the rocket stuff. Like I didn't want to like the rocket stuff, but I couldn't find a way to get rid of it and the movie still makes sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like it would have still made sense, but like it would have been like hard to have grasped it. Like I could have grasped it, but the person next to me in the movie theater might not have grasped
Right.
what was going on. But
Yeah.
like it was
yeah,
bothering me. So it's funny to me that both of y'all kind of like that part. But like I didn't really.
yeah. It was. I mean, there weren't any other stakes in the movie without that happening. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
what was the only other high stake situation besides that that just came about because of Warlock's entry was Lord heartbroken over his
Right.
the chick is dead.
Yeah.
I'm not going to the movies to see nothing about that storyline. I don't give a shit about that. I don't care
Right.
about
And I'm glad that
his
that wasn't the
heartbroken
main
shit.
story. Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's
but
like
without
it's
Rocket, that situation with Rocket, that would have been the highest fucking stake situation in the whole film. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? And I'm like, get off of it. Get over it quick enough. This motherfucker's been traversing galaxies and shit, and this one bitch got him out of his fucking mind. He used to take some notes from Captain Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Swashbuckle
Yeah,
these hoes across the nebula.
he's had a gaggle of green ladies. And it's funny because like this is a movie where like it's pretty low stakes because it's just all these guys trying to save their friend. But this is also a movie where a fucking planet blows up. Like an
Yeah,
entire
true.
planet blows up.
That's some like
Right.
That's some like Superman comes knock on your door shit. A whole planet blows up. Like somebody big coming to see you. Like after that.
But it's
But
Right.
also treated like
Yeah,
nothing,
but
which
I
is
was about to
but
say,
in
one of my
the
problems.
no one important shows up. But
and
I think it's
but when you
also
look at it in the whole perspective of the high evolutionary, that whole planet blowing up was like you knocking over a tank of those like those horse the like seahorses. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh
the little
yeah.
little
Yeah.
or an ant castle or something. Oh shit! I
Right.
knocked
Yeah,
it
it's
off the
like
counter. I just wiped out
it's like
20,000 fucking two.
yeah. Oh,
Oh
I
well,
spilled all my sea
sweep that
monkeys
shit
all over
up.
my desk. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They were
you know,
insignificant.
I'm glad
I
that
love
you
that we're talking about comic books and you just brought up sea monkeys. They were always in the back of the comic book. You order these sea monkeys. Where is that nigga at who got off on everybody? He deserved a whole ass
yeah.
and a handshake. He deserved an ass
See,
whooping
I,
and a
I
handshake.
had
That man grew
I
up to
had the
be
sea
Mark Cuban.
monkeys.
You had the sea monkeys
I
too?
Oh,
had
you had
sea
the sea
monkeys.
monkeys?
I I ordered I had that shit out of a comic book. I don't know what comic book I ordered that shit out from back in the '80s, but I definitely had some sea monkeys.
Definitely, right? Like my mom never
Definitely,
let us
little.
do it. My mom never let us do it.
Hashtag he got the
Yeah.
monkeys. He got the monkeys.
Hashtag monkey see monkey do.
Yeah, we'll let you guys decide how you're gonna spell that. But yeah, let's get into like the little bit of the story here. We're not gonna go like beat by
Yeah.
beat because it's like we mentioned, this movie is super long. But
It
yeah,
really is though. It
yeah,
feels so
it just
long.
feels long.
I was expecting it to be like
Mm.
late, dark.
How long was it? What was the runtime?
It was like 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Just
All
not
right.
like long
Two and
for.
a half. It was like
It was like, well, here, let me see.
no,
Yeah,
after the credits and like all that. We got there at 4:20 and left at 6:20 or something like that.
2:29.
2:29.
220. All right. Yeah.
It didn't feel. It felt
Okay.
longer than that.
Yeah, it did.
And yeah, it was just poorly paced movie. Sorry, I just
Yeah. 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 I mean, but to what you were saying, I mean, yeah, I don't definitely feel like it was a bad film by any means. It's just these Marvel movies, no matter whatever little edge or whatever they might be pushing under the hood, they're all the same story. It's all the same formula being pushed under the hood. And there's just by the time I get out of these films, I don't feel like I've done anything with my day.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah. I
No,
took a nap
there's
after.
just nothing to write home about anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
when I went with these earlier films, when it was really building up to like the whole Thanos thing, and it just felt a little more ominous, and
Mhm.
not you don't have to walk in thinking, okay, at the end of this, when the credits start rolling, the situation is going to be just as docile as it was when the credits came on.
Right.
Nothing that it's like there's you don't you're
But
not
I
you
do.
don't have to sit in a Marvel movie and wonder what the end is gonna be.
Right.
Everybody's gonna be eating fucking cake and singing "Kumbaya," and the credits are gonna come on.
Yeah.
But do
And
you think that's because there's less? Well, there's more directors, more producers
mm,
than there were involved in the first three phases. So, like the Russos worked on what, three movies,
uh
and
yeah, well, yeah,
if you
like
include all
yeah,
of the
two Captain Americas and two Avengers.
so four movies, so they
Okay.
worked on a big batch of the actual movies, and they're friends with Gunn. So
Yeah.
and even though people don't really like Joss Whedon's movie,
Oh, Age of Ultron, yeah.
he's friends with all of those guys are friends.
Right.
My whole point, and maybe they're maybe the directors and producers who were working on these movies now, they don't really know each other. They don't really hang out.
That is a
They
very
don't
good
really
point.
fuck with each other. So they don't even know what the other guy's writing in the next movie or care about what the other guy's writing in the next movie.
That
Because
is
there is less
mm,
setting up for the next
mm,
movie, for the next man.
right.
Like they did more of that. And then, we're sitting around going, as the layman, like, damn, they don't even know what's gonna happen in the next movie. They gotta write the next movie. But maybe they
Right.
kind of did.
They James Gunn was actually mentioning something to that fact, to the effect that how Taika Waititi kind of took the reins of having Thor still being involved with the Guardians of the Galaxy and writing that into the Thor film, whereas that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 would have actually come before that Thor 4 if, all the COVID and misscheduling things hadn't happened.
Yeah.
And he actually said that he had absolutely no plans of writing Thor into Guardians 3 whatsoever. So that continuation of the story from the previous film
Hmm.
was just something that, because of the fact, like you said, there was still respect amongst producers and directors
Right.
that,
The
that he
collaboration,
was
yeah.
he agreed to go ahead and continue that narrative
Mm,
into his storyline, whereas Gunn was like, well, his movie was already written before that whole thing had been created, and he hadn't planned on changing his storyline whatsoever. So it
right.
was just very lucky that that happened in that order.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like it is weird because like, and we also have like just to talk about like the connectivity and collaboration, there were two writers, Marcus and McFeely, who wrote like the three Captain America movies, and then they wrote the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. So there's like this through line of like this narrative that I don't think really exists in this phase, because like there's not like a couple of writers and a couple of directors who are like really driving it home like the Russos and like Marcus and McFeely
Yeah,
were. Um,
yeah,
but I'm not super mad at it, like at least the idea of it, because you can pick up a comic book and it have nothing to do with you read a Silver Surfer comic book, it has nothing to do with Captain Marvel, but it still be a good story. But
yeah.
I think that they're not making great stories with these movies, and I think that's what people are getting super upset about. But
I think
Exactly, man.
that the I think the reason is because they're running into this situation. We're running into a situation where this is business now.
it's business time.
And it's a lot of PC culture stuff going on too. James Gunn got fired,
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
that slowed up things too. And then nobody would take the damn movie after that,
Right.
so they ended up just getting him back.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
what's his name? Chris Pine.
Hmm.
He
Or
apparently
Chris
done
Pratt.
got Chris Pratt, whatever. He done got religion. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
That's apparently why he don't really want to do the movies no more.
He on some Chris Tucker shit, huh?
He on Chris Tucker shit, right? So then you got that. Then you got
Chris and Chris.
plays Gamora.
Yeah. Zoe
Oh wait,
Saldana
but
is
does that
no
mean?
longer doing.
Zoe Saldana don't
Is
want
it,
to do it no more.
yeah, she's out of here.
But
Batista, what's his name? David Batista. He's out of here.
he don't
Yeah.
want to do it no more. Probably because he got Republican views or something. He don't want to. He just don't want to be dealing with cancel culture. So, like,
So I'm taking my lip fillers and I'm going home.
I think this is a situation,
Out.
and James Gunn is leaving and going to run a whole different competitor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like the Last Dance. It's like, oh man, everybody's contracts are running up.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Vin
it's
Diesel,
sort of like
and what's his name sitting around like, hey man, where y'all going? This shit was good, man. We getting these
hey,
checks, man.
hey, not to give him that kind of status, but like when Kirby fucking went ahead and took his idea from from one place and started trying to continue it at a different one,
Right.
between the
Yeah.
Eternals and the New Gods and shit like that. So
Yeah.
he's just going over here now to lay his mark down with fucking DC. You're gonna be the Kevin Feige of the shit over there, and I don't, I think it's gonna be a whole different situation with him over there because Kevin Feige produces and does this, but he don't direct and write and make the movies. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So at least we've got someone who's a little bit more on the creative side that's really really in control of doing the pulling the strings.
I got
I
you.
think Gunn's gonna do a great job with DC
And
over there.
I want to just point out that they could have, as long as they got rid of, which they did, they got rid of the Asian dude who was, I can't remember his name, the Asian dude who was the executive of
yeah.
Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
He
I forgot his name.
he said that he said in an interview that he didn't think the comic book movies were worth money, and this was in like 2015, 16. Like he said this shit recently,
So dumb.
and
Yeah,
so I'm just saying,
Dumb.
as long as he's not there, anybody can go there and do something and make it better.
Mm.
or
As long as you
right.
got somebody who's actually believing in the product,
Mm.
and
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I
At
think it
least
does.
that.
I think it does bode well that it's James Gunn and Peter Safran is like, he have the creative side and the business side, so it's not just like one or the other. Like
Right.
Kevin Feige is some sort of like nerd god where he's both.
Right.
But
grew up in he just grew up as the in the business as
right.
the business side.
Hmm.
So, but he's just a huge nerd.
Right. He's just he's one of those. He's a nerd that made it. We love you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
No
yeah,
doubt. No doubt.
but
Just
yeah,
get your
like
shit together.
in this movie, it's very Rocket centric. It's not like he's not necessarily the main character. I think that Star Lord's still the main character of the movie, but it's very much a Rocket movie still. What
Rocket man.
what did you guys think of like just like the like his relationship with the High Evolutionary and the High Evolutionary himself like as a villain in like the MCU? Ready Cee, what did you think of High Evolutionary?
I think I can't ever pronounce the brother's name.
Me either.
correctly
Yeah, I was
the
gonna.
actor, but yeah,
I was like,
just
I'm not even gonna
mentioning
try.
that.
Nope.
Yeah, that the plug-in name here, brother. He did a really good job, man. I was looking forward to his portrayal of the High Evolutionary. I liked the way he looked and pulled off the role. It was. He was an exciting villain. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the whole switch up of everyone's origin story, how they made him the creator of Rocket and all that type of stuff was pretty cool. Um,
Now is that in the
oh
comics? Because I'm not as familiar with the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, he didn't create Rocket in the
Oh, okay.
So
comics.
he was in the comic.
Another group, the uh what is the Masters of Homeworld or whatever. Master, what's the name of that crew that
Okay. Sorry.
created
Sorry. I
him?
didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I was like, you know a lot more about comics than I do. But so I didn't.
Yeah, Half World. The Half World Masters are actually who created Rocket in the comics and stuff
Right.
like that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But they showed Half World and all that in the movie, and that's where he was putting all of his experimental animals and shit to create that society. But
Yeah.
I thought there were a lot of really nice, well paid comic book Easter eggs throughout the film. They changed up a lot of the history, and like I said, but that's to me that's just like it's up to these people and whether they want to do a good movie or not, because the storylines are there already in these comic books. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And they're already proven wonderful stories.
Yeah.
And it's just these loose, fucked up adaptations that are fucking things up. It's not the stories of the characters that have already been developed in there.
Yeah.
It's how they're interpreting them in this day and age that's dragging this shit through the mud. Because these are good stories that they're fucking up.
Yeah. We did get. Yeah. We got an Animans shout out in there. I'm not sure if you noticed that. Did you hear that?
Oh, which one was that?
Like at some point, like she I think it was Mantis was like, oh, the high evolutionaries created a lot of species, the Animans, the Sovereign. I was like, Animans.
Well,
That was
yeah,
just a nerd moment for
I
me.
didn't even
But like,
peep that
sorry.
one. That flew right by me, man.
No, but I do feel like yeah, like you are right in the sense that like because I was actually talking to a friend about this the other day because like uh we were talking about like book adaptation movies and book adaptations they pretty much more or less stick to the book and try to adapt the book, but in these comic book movies like it's a very loose adaptation of comic book storylines. Like Civil War is not really like Civil War,
Right.
so
It's
Yeah.
only what you can do. That's why. Like, what can we
Yeah,
do?
you got. Yeah, it's a short amount of time to jam, decades of history into,
Right.
certain
right.
films. So
Exactly.
I,
And
I get it. I
hundreds of
get it. But
books.
at the same time, these are
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds and millions of dollars that are going into making this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to say that I spend 8 hours a day doing pretty quality, good fucking work at my job, and I don't get but a tiny little drip in the bucket compared to what they out there getting paid. They need to be
Right.
doing a lot fucking better.
Well,
I will say this.
oh,
It is, since it is relevant, there is a writer's strike going
yeah, I was
on.
about to
And the people who are responsible for the content don't actually get paid shit. So that might have something to do with the fact that this shit sucks. Also, the reason that CGI has been off a little bit is because those guys get paid less than the people who I just was talking about this on strike because they don't even have a union.
And they work harder than anybody on that shit, man.
right.
That
Yeah,
And
it's
they don't
like the
even
whole
have a union.
yeah, the whole movie would not exist without CGI. And like there was a report that came out where the CGI artists from Quantum Mania said that there was like a priority for Wakanda Forever and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So that's why like some of the CGI didn't look like that great in comparison.
man.
Um so it's just like
Whew.
it is what it is.
Well, yeah, but to that point, I think that just heard news today that Blade is slow it on production. It stopped
Right,
production
because the
because of
writers.
the writer's
Yeah.
strike. And I think that
Yeah.
people are going to start appreciating maybe a little bit more, what content we have been getting as opposed to the content that we think that we deserve, because the writers aren't getting treated well, so we're not going to get good quality writing. And we have like
But I'm saying we already aren't.
people
So now that they
rewriting.
want to go on strike, they just gonna hire the next motherfucker that's gonna say, "We don't want to strike. I'd like to get paid. You come on in." They're already writing shit movies. I bet you're gonna write a shit movie too. Who's me? What's the fucking difference? Come on in. We can
I
pay
will.
you half the price we're just paying these complaining motherfuckers.
I will say. I bet that the people at Blade, just because like Blade Productions been having such a tough time, I bet when like all the writer strike happened, they're like, oh thank God, we have an excuse to like just like not make this movie yet, because I don't everything that's coming out with that movie, it just does not seem like it's gonna be good.
I met Mahershala Ali.
Man, I'm not
That
looking
nigga
forward to any kind of fucking Marvel vampire anything after they dropped that shit Morbius film. The only vampire movie I ever seen with no fucking blood. Get the
I just
fuck
blame
out of
Sony.
here.
I say blame Sony. I don't blame Marvel.
Yeah,
I put that on
I
Marvel.
put that on Sony's plate.
That's on
I
Sony.
put that on Sony's plate.
God damn.
Um,
They're all in cahoots. They're all under the same sheets to me, man. They all in the same bed.
I'm gonna say this right now.
They,
If you're a writer and you are not union, do not write for these motherfucking crackers. I'm trying to tell you right now. Do not do it, because they not gonna pay you nothing either. That's a fact. 90% of the writers
oh
guild
man.
voted against this shit. Like, we gotta get this money. $30,000 is not a living wage in Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, it's rough shit over there. Yeah, check the link
But
in the description if you
the
want to
reason I
learn more
brought that
about
up-
the.
No, the reason I brought that up is
Mm.
because I think, to his point, to both of y'all's point, y'all are people who don't feel like the writing has been up to par lately in some of these movies. And I'm just saying, I think that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, that is a possibility for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, like and I was about to say something. I was like, that's gonna be like this. We could spend 2 hours on
We
the
gotta have
writer
a
strike.
writers guild. I know some writers.
No
We can
doubt.
get some writers in here. And
Hey, that'd be
come
cool.
in here.
That'd be cool. But yeah, just like bring it back to the Guardians. So like as we were mentioning, is like none of the a lot of people were expecting there to be a death in this movie just because it's, I guess, the end of an era. We got a couple of fake outs
Hey, you
with
stupid
like
fucking nerd punks. I told yous, nobody's gonna die. Okay, you fucking dummies.
Yeah.
What did you guys think?
That's
Were you happy that no one died? Were you sad that like dissatisfied that no one died in this movie? Ready Cee? What did you think?
I was extremely upset and disappointed that everyone did not get murdered.
Oh yeah, you wanted a bloodbath. You
I
wanted a
wanted an
massacre.
obliteration. I wanted a wipeout. You know what I'm saying? Carpet bomb. The whole thing. Now, I mean, I wasn't expecting, a whole uh, massacre or anything like that. But
Right.
I did think, I don't know. It just, yeah, it's just such fake edginess to me and stuff. Okay, they said fuck one time in the movie. Ooh, adult. Fuck out of here, man. That don't.
They did rip a
That's,
nigga's
that's
face.
just not a that. No,
They
one,
peeled a nigga's face
a
off, though.
fuck.
That was
Yeah. But when he carved the little thing off the side of his head and shit like that, I was like, all right, that's a little brutal.
Yeah, that was a little brutal. Oh, yeah, that was a little brutal.
Yeah, like honestly, his face was like it was worse than like the first time you see Two Face's face in Dark Knight. Like that shit was worse than that. Like it.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Well, when they
Like, they
peeled
the
off.
shit off. That shit was worse.
You ever heard somebody say they had their shit peeled back? This nigga had his shit peeled.
He's got his
all the way
shit
back.
peeled back.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, the Red Skull cameo. But nah,
Right? That's dead ass what I thought too. I was like, damn, this nigga look like the Red
Oh
Skull.
God.
Yeah, I would have been. It was a more comic accurate Red Skull right there, if you ask me.
Yeah,
Nah, but that
Red
was
Skull.
dope. That was, yeah, it was cool. I mean, yeah, there were some nice little graphic scenes like that in there, and I don't know. To me, it needed more depth, and substance. You know, a couple of visual things to me that doesn't really create the mood of a film. Needs to be
Right.
in the fucking needs to be in the meat and potatoes of the writing. Something I can remember. But
Right.
these
Something that's gonna give you
guys, they
gas
just
later. You need something that's gonna hold on to you. Something that's gonna make you
yeah.
get
I
diarrhea.
mean, you mentioned in that part right now. I forgot completely that had even happened until you just mentioned it again right now. Like, oh yeah, that happened. That was cool.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, and
I
there
mean,
is
if
like
the
a lot of shit happening. And it's weird because like James Gunn, like comparatively, James Gunn, like I love Peacemaker and I love the Suicide Squad. Like those, like the Suicide Squad might be my favorite James Gunn movie. Like that and
type,
Guardians are like pretty close.
Yeah, but
But
there's not a lot of substance to either. Either.
I mean
I
there
mean, either of those.
there is a lot. That's the thing.
Really.
That's the thing. There is a lot of substance to it, just because, like the character development of Peacemaker in that show is really, really interesting, and like the
Suicide
development of
Squad
all the
was good.
yeah, and yeah, there's like, but
Good,
it's
but I'm talking about substance. So what? To your point, and to C's point, you want the story to like hold on to something, and you felt the same way about the second one. Like you didn't leave it with like, oh, that was dope. I can't wait for this to happen. I can't wait to see what happens with this character and that. So I don't know. Maybe James Gunn is just really good at doing like singular characters and building them up, and that like when he has a true main character, he can build that character up. But when there's a focus got to be put on
Yeah,
each character, he spreads himself thin.
see, a lot of it, and a lot of the blame goes on us too because we've let these post credit scenes be such a focal point of our going to these movies to the fact that now these writers don't even have to worry about making any kind of fucking climax or cliffhangers in the actual fucking story. All they can
right,
do is make one little fucking 5 second jack off moment after the credits come off the screen, and that's gonna be your fucking cliffhanger. They didn't have to do shit in the real writing of the film.
Right.
And
right.
everybody's happy and satisfied because did you see the post credit scene?
And
No, man.
for
All
for
that shit
me,
is a crutch. It's a fucking crutch for these
for
shit
me,
writers and these doodle films.
For me, that's the Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like that's the most egregious uh example of that. It's like that's the most dog shit movie in the MCU. I stand by that. And
Ugh.
then the only thing
Ugh.
that's worth a damn is that like you find out in the post-credit scene that everybody except Ant-Man is like snapped out of existence and Ant-Man's in the quantum realm.
Right.
This is a dog shit movie. I hate that movie.
But
So
it's just
terrible.
like, but if you don't watch it,
Ugh.
you just don't know what the fuck is going on when you go see Avengers. Like you just don't know what.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. They had to tack that on. And I mean, and even that though, at least that gave you some type of a cliffhanger feeling. Like, okay,
Mhm.
at least there's something for me to wonder what the fuck is gonna happen, in the next film. Like what's gonna happen, where's this lead? As
Right.
stupid as it was, there's
Well,
nothing at the end of these like the post credit scenes in this Guardian film is like they're all just they're two more bookends to the
right.
story. And it's like if you're not gonna give us something that's gonna segue into the next film or leave us like anticipating some part of the next story, some next part of the story, the post credit scene has just fucking it's caved in on itself.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to
Bad on
see
that.
two post credit scenes that just give me more of a fucking bookend to what I've already
Mhm.
fucking seen. I want to see something that's gonna tell me something about the future of this shit.
Well, I do definitely feel like this movie was more about. I mean, compared to I guess other movies in the MCU right now, is just trying to like close a gap rather than
Open
say
up
what's
another story.
open up another story.
All right, well then just put
And
the credits on and let us get the fuck out of there.
Dead
but
ass.
speaking to that, like and we talked a little bit about the Gamora Quill relationship before. But what did you guys think about just like the fact that like it was like a B plot, it wasn't like the main story, and they didn't end up together at the end.
Wasn't it? Wasn't it the main story?
I can appreciate that. Definitely.
It felt like
I
the main
was
story. They kept
wondering
bringing it up enough for it to be the main story. God damn. I was
if
over
they ended up if they had ended up together by the end of that movie, I was gonna take a shit in my popcorn and leave it on the seat.
Oh no, that poor AMC or Regal worker.
yeah.
like
I would have victimized some
go to
young
the movies
AMC
with Ready
employee.
Cee. Go to the movies with Ready Cee. Like, hey man, you not gonna eat that hot dog? Like, nah, I'm saving it to the end. If I don't like it, I'm gonna shit in this bun. And leave it.
Yeah. Back in medieval times, Ready Cee was one of the people who brought the tomatoes and the cabbage to
Yeah.
to the town
Exactly.
square. So he gets like,
he was selling it out there for get your rotten cabbage out here. Get your
Yeah.
tomatoes. We got rotten tomatoes.
just in case shit goes
Yeah,
sideways,
exactly.
you might need to throw some vegetables,
Exactly.
No, you got rotten grapes. I know that be
Oh my god. But yeah, you say you appreciated the fact that they didn't like end up together at the end. Ready, see?
Yeah, because I kind of was really expecting that to happen. Especially with how things are going with this flower bed at the end of the film status of all these movies. But I mean, okay, all right, cool. I'm like, good. At least I mean, they came to terms with the situation, which was okay. But I'm just glad that it didn't end up with them like the last scene is them getting married on
right.
I'm gonna ask you
with
guys an
with the
important
fucking
question.
the
I'm asking both
collector
of you guys
proceeding
an
over the
important
wedding.
question right now. This is very very serious stuff.
Very important stuff.
Peter Quill in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord.
Alex, you gonna go first? Was he hoish or broish?
Hoish or broish?
Yeah. In this movie, was he hoish or broish? He was Star Lord.
Right.
I'll set it up for you. Star Lord.
Okay.
You know
Yeah. Yeah.
In the streets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm knocking down everything that's brown and green and yellow too. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Yeah. He's a proverbial Captain Jack Sparrow of the stars.
Right. And then, he got hurt. He got cut deep. Cut me deep.
Yeah.
Lost his boo.
Yeah.
Now she's back.
Mm-hmm.
But she don't fuck with him no more like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying the emotions he had to go through, the ups and downs, his ending,
right.
eventually. How do you feel? Was he hoish or broish?
I guess I would say like if I'm in understanding, I sound like such a nerd. If I'm understanding the terminology correctly,
you know the rules.
I think that in the arc of Star-Lord, he starts out hoish and then he ends up broish because he's very obviously very distraught over his relationship at the beginning. And I really liked his arc in this movie. He starts out very distraught, upset. And it's not about him like falling back in love with Gamora. It's about him realizing that he needs to stop trying to like just, as Mantis says, jump from lily pad to lily pad, and he needs to learn how to swim. And he decides to stop running away from on top of what Rocket was going through, confronting his past. He's like, maybe I should confront my past too. Maybe I should stop running as well. And he goes back and visits his grandpa. So I
you
like
never know when you're gonna learn something. You learn something from somebody new all the time. Some of the craziest places. Sometimes it's a raccoon.
I think Mantis gave him the opposite of good advice, telling him not to stop. He's too worried about this one bitch. He needs to get to hopping on some lily pads across the fucking universe.
Right.
That's what
exactly
he needs.
what
Anybody under normal human circumstances would have been like, "Yo, man, there's more lily pads in the fucking sea.
Right.
Get to hopping.
Get your ass
Get
on
to
that
hopping."
lily pad, nigga. Your lily pad.
So what the fuck
sink.
was she even talking about?
Like,
Yeah,
you
when
feeling
she was like,
frog, just leave.
yeah, you're heartbroken. Oh, you need to slow down and swim. Fuck you. Fuck that.
Yeah, fuck you, bitch. My legs is tired. You just told me I was hopping too much, bitch. I'm tired. I don't feel like swimming.
Mantis ain't shit. Mantis is one of the most useless characters ever introduced in the MCU.
agree.
Yeah, I like
I
how
hate
suddenly
her.
she could fight really well in this movie.
She could fight in the last movie.
That
but
shit was
the thing
fucking stupid, man.
This is the thing. What was the last movie that they were in?
Christmas special?
Christmas
Yeah.
special. And she
Or
also
in
was
Thor
in
and Love and Thunder?
Thor and Love and Thunder. Yeah. Anyway,
Ah.
they've established that she can fight before. My thing is, why not use that more? They always like choose not to use it. They choose when they're gonna.
My bad.
Right.
All of a sudden, she
Because
can
it,
fight.
because it came. The reason they chose when to use it because it came out of nowhere. Just like how Ludacris
Right.
in the Fast and Furious movies was all of a sudden a ninja and a tech genius.
Right.
Mantis
Well, no, he
could
was
all of us.
as a tech genius.
He started out as
first
the
movie.
best mechanic.
No, he was a tech genius. No, he was a tech genius. If you knew anything about cars, you'd know that he's a tech genius. So,
Well, I mean, he wasn't okay. Well,
was a tech genius.
this is Well,
because they
take us out on our
established that.
Fast and Furious.
We gonna
Fred,
be covering that on the Does It Hold Up?
Yeah,
Fucking y'all
May
gonna catch us
15th.
this
You guys gotta
argument
check that
'cause
out.
Y'all know this nigga wrong. Y'all know this. Don't you ever talk bad about Luda in here?
Luda is Luda Christ up in this place. But yeah, so yeah, in this movie, there's a lot of
What movie
death
come up?
and destruction.
No,
Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Yeah, there's a lot of death, destruction, but it's still like a very low stakes film because it's all
you
about
say low stakes. That's mostly because the stakes that they had, they blew it up. It was a planet. They blew up. They had
They
stakes.
definitely-
They didn't have to blow that planet up immediately. They could have like said,
Yeah.
like they tell us, oh man, this nigga gonna blow up the planet. Like we get this sense, oh, this nigga finna blow up everybody, and then it just does. It wasn't no like moments in between that. It was no build up to it. It was just like this shit gone, dog. I told y'all. You like it's like when you get an eviction notice and then your shit just gone. Like wait a minute.
Yeah,
I told you, nigga. I've been telling you, give me my money.
Yeah, all of your shit is on the corner and the eviction notice is taped on top.
Right.
Yeah,
I like the High Evolutionary. He was ruthless. He didn't give a fuck.
High
yeah.
Evolutionary gave me very young Wesley Snipes vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, the destruction of the planet
Yeah.
was used kind of like as a character device. It's like just to show you how ruthless he is more than just like to have anything to do with the characters on the
Which
planet.
I feel like they had to do. I mean, this motherfucker is killing baby raccoons and shit, nigga. Like
Yeah, it was
god
like-
damn, nigga. Look,
I think it
you
was
just
just like
need
to add
detach
a
yourself from a planet. Nigga, you got to strangle a baby raccoon and shit. Like, nigga, this nigga's crazy.
It's crazy as hell. I think
Yeah.
I guess just to add a sense of urgency and like ruthlessness to that character. But on that planet, we did get just like before we talk about the end here. We did get our first F-bomb. We talked about this a little bit earlier. What did y'all think of the first F-bomb in the MCU? But not talking about Groot's F-bomb that was I guess edited in like Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
It wasn't even as impactful as the cut short F-bomb from Sam Jackson in the Avengers. What you call it? The Infinity War. The Infinity War when he was calling Captain America on the pager and he was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
They
Or
cut
the
him off
one
before he said "fuck."
from Spider-Man when Aunt Mace gets ready to say like, "What the?" Like, when
Yeah.
she
Yeah,
said,
right.
like,
Yeah.
But hey, shout out to Marissa Tomei. She said that shit. She
Yeah.
actually said that shit. I actually met Marissa Tomei. Shout out to Marissa Tomei, friend of the show. I met Marissa.
Friend of the show.
She's very cool, very nice.
Nice.
Long time. I didn't even know who she was.
Hey, I mean, yeah, friend of the show, Marissa Tomei, until you send us a cease and desist.
I thought you were a taller person.
Yeah.
I did like the scene. Like I wasn't like over the moon. I wasn't like, oh, they said the F word. But I thought it was like funny. Like not a lot of the comedy
It
works
was
for me.
funny. I'll give it that much. In the context of what was going on, the bit was dumb until he said, "Open the fucking door."
Over the
like,
fucking door. Yeah,
Right.
honestly, yeah.
Right.
Like I was in the same boat. I was like, all right, yeah, it's a car door that doesn't work like normal doors.
Damn, bitch, open the goddamn door. But also, I want to point out how stupid it was for those doors to have a button. I used to have to push them damn buttons back in the day. That shit was really fucking dumb. I mean, you could just open the fucking door and then that's it. Why do I have to unlock
Yeah,
the car twice? I don't understand that.
that was
Yeah,
a funny moment.
Yeah, I feel like that bit was written specifically for that. And
Yeah,
there's a
come on,
couple of
GM.
other
What were y'all thinking back?
there were a couple other funny
My
moments. I'm
the
not
my funny moment.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite funny
The,
moment? Yeah.
the one funny part that got me, that really did get me though, was when they were shooting at him on the the big butthole fucking station that they were flying into with all
Right.
the
Yeah.
organic made thing that looked like a big asshole in space.
Yeah.
They there was some dude, some security dude that came out looking like a carrot, and
Oh right.
he met the dude with the carrot face, and Gamora was about to kill him, but then she decided not to, and then then they went back to him. He was like all relieved, like, oh shit. He was like, oh, but that
Yeah, that was
motherfucker's
funny.
face,
You
man,
know,
that
I'm
dude's
glad that you
face
brought
had
that
me
up.
dying.
I'm glad you brought that up because it's something I thought about when I watched that. Just like from audience reactions from the two movies that I saw. Got a big
Yeah.
laugh with the carrot joke, not a big laugh with the broccoli head joke in Quantum Mania. Do you feel like it's just like a better joke, or is like it's weird
Hold
that
on,
we
man.
got two vegetable head jokes?
Hold on, man. You racist?
I don't even
You
remember
like
a broccoli head
jokes,
joke
nigga?
in Quantum Mania.
So you racist? You like broccoli jokes? I knew this nigga was racist.
I don't even remember the broccoli joke in the Quantum Mania.
Oh,
Which
for
one?
real?
What was that at?
Yeah.
My funny moment. I mean, I don't know, man. It was a few funny moments, to be honest. I mean, like Adam Warlock setting that nigga on fire on
That was pretty
accident.
good.
Oh yeah,
Funny
that was.
movie.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't gonna say on accident. He did it on purpose. She just didn't want him to do it. That's not
Yeah.
accident.
Right. Yeah.
He set that nigga on fire. Damn, I had another one. I had two other ones. Can't really remember them right now.
Yeah, it's funny because like I always talk about how much I hate the Zargna joke in Infinity War, the Drax Zargna joke. Also because like I feel like they've turned Zark into Drax into a fucking clown compared to how he was in the first movie. But I like the Zargna
Oh
joke in this
man.
movie. I like the Zargna joke in this movie where he's like, "I'm all out of Zargnuts," and
Yeah.
then he just slowly eats another one. I thought that was pretty good. That was a pretty good.
Yeah, Drax completely is 100% comic relief now. Well, come to this point in the Guardians films, it's just like he had they took his balls and put him in a grinder and then made him drink it. Then
Yeah.
made him drink the actual
Well, they killed Thanos.
ball
That was their
smoothie
reason.
out of his own balls.
I think the way they justify it is they killed Thanos, and that was all he was really angry for. That was really the only reason he was angry.
Right. Right, he
Yeah.
was trying to find any more purpose, I guess. After that, since the revenge on the death of his wife and kid was a moot point now.
Right.
I,
Yeah.
What was his purpose? I guess.
I will say that like in the first movie the joke was that he's hyper literal and his species literally doesn't understand sarcasm or anything like that, so that's
Puns,
or puns or anything like that.
analogies.
They're just
Mhm.
that's why he is the way he is, and that's the only movie where he is the like that's where his comedy comes from. The rest of the movies he's just a fucking
Right.
idiot, like he's literally just a
Yeah.
dumb
Right.
child. And
Right.
Or
that's
an
what
asshole. I know because he clearly shows that he knows what the fuck's going on. He just be fucking around. 'Cause
right.
He knew the language of the little kids, but he just didn't say nothing.
Just didn't say anything. It was like, and I heard people laughing in the audience. It's like, I don't think that's funny. I think it's just stupid. Like, why do you just like? We're here to save people. Like, we're here to save our friends. Why are you acting like a dum dum?
Right.
It was a weird spot to
Yeah.
put it in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
it's
Like,
say the interactions between the Guardians. I mean, just like the way that they speak with one another is like when that happens, it's like watching a 5 and a 6-year-old argue with each other. It's like when Mantis and Drax are talking to each other, they're like infants
Yeah.
speaking to one another. It's like, oh, you think I'm stupid? And I'm like, I was sitting here like,
screaming at each
what am I
I'm
watching right
glad you
now?
brought
Am I
that up.
watching something that was created by an adult?
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up because one of those, like doing that one time at the beginning of the movie and another time at the end of the movie, that's fine. But they did it to death in this movie. And
It did a lot.
Oh,
the fact that they
God,
did it
I
so
hate
many times
Mantis.
shows that they were doing it in a formulated way. Like they formatted that and said, "This is what we're going to do.
Right.
These are our opportunities to do these types of dialogue." And that shows that they just weren't creative in any way, shape, or form in the writing of the movie, or they didn't have time to be creative. I don't know what the deal
The
was.
Guardians of the Galaxy should have all died. And Thanos should have killed them all immediately in that movie. If everything was right with the world,
and then
there
that's
would have
when
been no Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because they should all be dead
I fuck with
already.
Rocket though.
Hey, I love
I
Rocket.
still fuck with
And
Rocket and
you
Groot.
know what? And at the end of the day, like as much as I shit on, and as I liked this movie as much as I've talked about the problems of it, and as much as say I don't like Guardians of the Galaxy 2,
What you like
I
about it?
I like the
See
emotion.
how you stutter? No.
I mentioned all the things I like, but like and I love Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Like the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie is like damn near perfect. It's so well paced. All the characters have a really good arc, and everybody comes together really well at the end. And the comedy is really well done, and is
Come
kind of
together like butt cheeks.
it's and it's kind of a breath of fresh air in the ways of comedy and music in the MCU, because like they didn't really use a lot of pop music before Guardians of the Galaxy came around. So it was really a game changer in the MCU. And yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and 3 were kind of disappointing in comparison. But
I would say that this is a bad sign for DC only because James Gunn clearly, in my opinion, is not great at writing multiple movies. You know what I'm saying? He's great at hitting that iron a couple of times, but three, I don't know about three.
right,
Two, you didn't like two. I didn't like three that
and I
much.
like to. And
I felt like they were all pretty much the same. I I, I think
I
they were
liked
all the
one.
same
I
across
really
the
liked
board. All three of them. I like them all. I didn't. I just feel the same way about all of them. I don't. I feel like it's one big long fucking movie. I don't think there's too much of a difference between either one of them. They're all the fucking same.
Yeah, I feel like one holds up because of the context in the movies that come afterwards. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like leading up to Endgame. But
Right. So yeah,
these two movies, they don't really
because like I say, all that stuff felt like it felt like a part of a story when those movies were going on.
right.
Now
Right.
there's nothing. This whole Kang shit is fucking flimsy as fuck. I mean,
Sorry.
And I
No,
like
it's just
I like
the fuck
Jonathan Majors.
Kang.
I like Jonathan Majors as Kang. He saved the Ant-Man movie, but
Oh God.
yeah, we'll see.
Ugh.
We'll see where the MC.
That
we'll
man
see.
was ass. God damn, that movie was fucking shit. It was the second worst movie in the MC. To me, the worst thing, I think the worst film ever made. Not just the worst movie ever made, but not just the worst Marvel movie, but the worst movie ever made in the history of
damn.
mankind is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh, okay.
We're loving Thunder. I might agree with
I'm
you.
inclined to agree with you, but yeah, because there's
Shout out to Uncle Albert. He walked out of that movie, like got up, walked
Yo,
out the movie.
yeah,
that was
that
the
was
worst film I've ever seen in my life.
that was pretty damn bad.
And then I'm gonna put Quantum Mania pretty close.
I can't put Quantumania in the worst movies ever made. Like there's
Not worst movies ever made. I'm talking about Marvel.
No.
worst
Yeah.
Marvel movies. I can't even put it in the worst Marvel movies for me. Like Terminator. Iron Man 2 is still like pretty low down there.
It's pretty fucking bad.
Uh,
Not as bad as Iron Man 3.
Incredible Hulk. Iron Man 2 is way worse than Iron Man 3 in my
They're
opinion.
both pretty bad.
Incredible Hulk.
Ooh, which one?
The first one, and the one that's called Incredible. The Incredible Hulk.
Oh,
Edward Norton,
you like
Incredible Hulk.
Edward Norton? You know that one.
No,
That's the one you don't like.
that was hard. That was hard to get
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
I'm saying the
No.
one with Edward Norton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that one either.
Yeah.
Well, we've got. I'll tell you one thing. This Guardians movie. I mean, in the track record of all these other films that have been coming out, with Ant-Man that came out before this, and now this movie that's the newest one. It has definitely. It's the end of an era for the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's the end of the era for me going to see fucking Marvel movies at the
Oh man,
theater.
you're done. He said he's done. You're
Done.
not gonna go see Marvels when it comes out, huh?
I will be going to see Deadpool 3 at the end of the year. I'm down for that.
Okay.
Deadpool
The Marvels can dry up in a fucking in a bloody ditch. Fuck those bitches. Let me see. I am looking forward to Secret Invasion in about 4 or 5 weeks.
Oh yeah,
That's gonna
right.
be
They got
great.
the Secret Invasion TV show coming out.
But as far as these movies go, Guardians of the Galaxy was my last at bat, and I'm out.
I will say this about Marvels. I think what will benefit that movie, or what will help it be good, if it is going to be great, is that nobody knows what.
Three-way scissor fest. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's just that nobody knows what the fuck is going on with that. Like, and it might be a good thing, it might be a bad thing, but usually it's a good thing when you don't have no idea what's going on. Like, they haven't dropped, no real leaks have come out. Like,
Oh, yeah, they will.
well, people they gotten good with the disinformation, because the internet swore up and down that Rocket was gonna die, and that did not.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny about internet nerds? They never get held accountable. Motherfuckers can get held accountable on sports news. They get held accountable on regular news, but nerd news, niggas don't care. But y'all was wrong.
Nah.
Y'all was wrong.
Why the hell would Rocket
right.
die? They don't have to. I mean, what's Vin Diesel don't even have to come in to be on screen to do any of those parts. He could do that shit at home.
Exactly.
No, whoever, not the other guy. What's his name? Not Vin Diesel, but
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. Yeah, he can record all those parts from his fucking garage.
Yeah, this is actually the first time he's shown up for the premiere. Like for the Guardians movies. I guess because it's a very rocket centric movie, and I guess since it's a very
also. This is his last time to see everybody, because he probably never even seen none of these things before.
And I bet the only reason he hasn't been like very like appearance heavy in all these movies, one, he's a CGI character, but two, him and Zoe Saldana were like exes as soon as the Guardians of the Galaxy movie started, so they probably didn't want to be around each other. But I will say,
wow,
like with Martin and Gina.
Yeah, that could be true too. But I will say, since this is a very rocket centric movie, before we get out of here, Bradley Cooper is fucking incredible as Rocket Raccoon. Just like he sounds nothing like himself. Like he's been incredible.
No, I would never guess that. Yeah, for sure.
Like
100%. I think he's
he's
the best thing about the Guardians films, for sure. Best things. And James Gunn said, everybody was under the impression that most of that the Guardians movies were about Star-Lord. They were all, the main protagonist, according to James Gunn, is Rocket. For about the whole trilogy is about him, basically. And and that's why everything kind of cultivated to his story at the end, because his story is the most impactful, out of everybody else. Okay, Star-Lord lost his mom and ran away and turned into a intergalactic bitch for 30 years. That ain't a story I'm really interested in.
Right. And then Star-Lord's story stops being interesting once you make him kill his daddy. Like, okay, you found his daddy and then he kills him.
Right.
Okay, well then, well, that's done. Like, we don't have to ever talk about that again.
Right.
Like, we talk about somebody else. So yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, because Rocket was always a better character, and he's the only one who survives the snap.
Yeah, that's
Out of
true.
all of the
Him,
Guardians.
him and Nebula. Yeah.
Oh well, she wasn't
Oh,
in the
right, right.
Guardians.
Oh yeah, that's true. And yeah, it's funny
True,
because
true.
like even in Guardians 2, they had a moment where like I do still like really like Star Lord as a character, and yeah, I like Chris Pratt's performance as that character. Um, but even in
Me
Guardians
too.
2, a movie that I don't even really like that much, there's like a moment where they're both just like competing to be who's like the best Han Solo. Like it's like, oh, only one pilot can get us out of this situation, and then
Right.
Star Lord and Rocket both say me at the same time. So I always
Yeah.
thought that they were the best characters. So like I've while like narratively, I guess like Star Lord is the main character for all these movies. Rocket has gotten really high, like a lot of shine in all three of them. Like this last movie was all about him. The second movie was all about him confronting his like repelling of his family. Like it was all about him accepting the Guardians as his family. And
Hmm.
even in this movie, like we kind of get past that point where people stop, like people are pretending like they don't like each other. Like everybody's acknowledging each other as family in this movie, which
Well, that
is like
happened during the Christmas
actively.
special.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right.
That did happen during the Christmas
She
special.
showed Disney Plus up. Son.
Yeah.
Showed Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Up.
There were definitely emotional moments. There was like that moment where kind of, where right after they saved Rocket and he was back in health or whatever, and he came through the comms, and Nebula was like, "Was that Rocket?" He was like, "Yeah, he's back. He's all right." She kind of got choked up. You know
Yeah.
that wasn't a tear. It was just the fan was blowing in my eye. That was all.
My artificial eye was leaking. That's all.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we get out of here, we've done some extensive Marvel talking today. Ben, we love every time we get to chat with you. Ready
Oh man,
see,
appreciate y'all,
guys,
man.
check out the link to when we talked about Foot Fist Way in the description as well.
Oh wow,
You guys
that's
wanna?
right. Word.
Goonie!
That was that was great. That
But
was a
Ready
dope.
see, tell the people in the Ubly Tublies where they can find you on the internets real quick.
Oh yeah, you can check out the channel Comic Book Trap House right here on Find YouTube. Subscribe over there, just like it's spelled like it sounds. Comic Book Trap House. You can follow us at the same location on Instagram. Right now, we're doing some restructuring. We usually do a live weekly show, but we haven't been on in a while because we're kind of restructuring the whole production, getting ready to relaunch pretty soon. But we've got over 150 episodes right there in the archive, and timeless information. So it's always relevant in the world of comic books because we talk, speculation and uh, key issues and all that type of information never gets old. Comics
Never.
are forever. It's an ever changing market, so it's good to go back and see what was hot and what sort of things we were talking about maybe 70 some episodes ago and compare it to the numbers that are happening out there right now, and it's a good way to analyze the market.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, we see them stacks of comic books behind you, man. Yeah, that's stacks and stacks of stories back there. That's episodes
There
of the
they
comic book
all are.
trap house back there.
That's the
Right.
Trap House
That's
library back there. I
Look like
got
Kevin
shit
Feige's
everywhere in here,
bedroom.
man. I mean, I got
Look like Kevin
it's
Feige's bedroom over there.
it's all
Full
over the
of
fucking
these
place. I
comic
got I
books.
got so much I got to archive in here
uh,
right now. It's out of control.
that's ammo
You
for the
know.
cover combat right there.
You guys hadn't even seen his record.
Oh they're done. Next cover combat. They're finished. Some nice keys I picked up over the weekend right there, real quick. Look at that beauty right
Gosh.
there.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Dark Phoenix. Such a great
Mm.
storyline. Oh man. Man. So, well, guys, it's about that time. Thanks for watching. We do this every once in a while, so go ahead and leave a like and subscribe so you can get updates on videos. Check us out on Twitter, IG, TikTok, likewise, Spotify, Letterboxd, all the internet things at the Drunk Banthas. Until next time, stay safe, my little raccoons.